Hello patrons, coming at you with another bonus exclusive Patreon video to thank you guys for all your support of the channel. Could not do it without you. So we just made the Clover Club, and this Clover Club was made using dry vermouth, some lemon, some raspberry syrup, some gin, and a little egg white. Now I want to show you guys a method of making this cocktail that does not involve the raspberry syrup, which maybe you're less keen to make, and it doesn't involve the dry vermouth. So it's actually a little bit simpler, something really easy to put together, about as easy as a whiskey sour. We're still going to use egg white, but that of course is optional if you don't want it. So we're going to start with 0.75 ounces of lemon juice, or that would be about 22.5 milliliters. Add that to a mixing glass. Then I'm going to take some regular old simple syrup. This is just a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. And we're going to add another 0.75 ounces, 22 mils of your simple syrup. Put this over here. Again, you always add, oh, this is what happens when we go live, guys. Things slip. So you always add your least expensive ingredients first, just in case you do mess up. It doesn't ruin the drink and have to start over and cost you the gin you might have poured in to begin with. So we're going to add the gin last in this case. We're going to do 2 ounces of our gin. Here again we're using Plymouth. Last drop there. Plymouth is a nice gin, relatively dry, great for cocktails like this where you're already adding a lot of sweetness. You don't want to add more sweetness due to a sweeter gin. So recommended dry gin here. Gonna get 2 ounces in there. So that was 2 ounces or 60 mils of gin, 0.75 ounces or 22 mils of lemon, 0.75 ounces or 22 mils of simple syrup, and then the raspberries. So this is where the easy part comes in. Instead of raspberry syrup, we're going to just add in 5 whole raspberries. 3, 4, a nice big one there. Raspberries are in season now. This is a great cocktail to make. And we don't even have to muddle these. The shaking is going to pulverize the raspberries. So it's a relatively fragile berry, so you don't really have to worry about muddling it. Makes it even easier. Get my chilled coupe glass here. Pour that in, and get some ice going. So again, we're going to use the reverse dry shake method. So reverse dry shake method in this case is we're going to shake with ice first, and then we're going to dry shake without ice, using just an egg white. It's called reverse because the normal dry shake actually flips that order. Typically does the dry shake component first with the egg white, then adds the ice and cools it. I find that this method gives you a much nicer foam. Okay, so we're gonna put all our ingredients in a shaker tin, shake it up for about 15 seconds with about 5 cubes of ice. Okay, we're going to want to double strain that out. I've realized I've got my shaker, my strainers all the way over here. Let's see if the mic reaches. And it does. All right. Okay, so we're going to strain this out into the glass here. Getting rid of all the raspberry pulp as well as the ice. The Hawthorne strainer, the big one here, is catching most of the ice and big chunks of raspberry, and then you typically double strain with this fine mesh strainer to catch the small chunks of ice. And in this case, because we just threw in a bunch of raspberries, you're going to notice a lot of raspberry pulp in there. It's going to catch all of that good stuff. Okay, I'm going to dump and actually do a quick rinse of our metal tin. Okay, so now this cocktail's been cooled and diluted. Here comes the dry shake part. We're gonna add in 1 egg white directly to the tin. So let's be careful. Just like pour the yolk back and forth between the shells. That'll get you about 1 egg white. 1 egg white is equal to about an ounce of egg white with 30 milliliters. If you don't want as much egg white, you can have that. And if you actually don't want egg white at all, there's a thing called aquafaba, which is basically chickpea brine. I don't recommend it. I don't like the flavor as much. Really, the risk of salmonella is so low if you're using high quality eggs. So I don't even think about that. Okay, so now we're gonna shake this for about another 15 to 20 seconds. With this dry shake, it's actually better if you don't have the glass touching the tin. Creates a stronger, tighter seal. You don't have the ice in here to create that suction, which is normally what keeps these together. So you're gonna wanna create the tightest seal possible. So I don't usually have the glass touching the top part of the rib here. All right, 15, 20 seconds. So this version of the cocktail was created by the bartenders at a bar called Milk and Honey in New York City. Really well known. And this would be a really quick and easy thing to do at home or at the bar, to be honest. Okay, now we're ready for the pour. Then we're gonna do a little taste test comparison. All right, so then we can just dump this in, because we've already strained out the ice as well as the raspberry pulp. So it just goes straight into the coupe glass. You can see it's a pretty heady foam on this one. There we go. All right. Yeah, we can see a nice foam there. It's beautiful. Really nice cocktail. If you don't like as much foam, but you do still want to have an egg white, you could try the normal dry shake instead of the reverse dry shake. Reverse dry shake tends to get you a nicer foam, but some people don't like as much foam, so it's all about what you want. And over here, I have the one I just made for the main video. This is using the vermouth, as well as the raspberry syrup. So we're gonna do a quick comparison. Now this one's just been sitting around for a little bit, so the foam's a little bit thicker, as you'll notice. But let's go ahead and give this one a taste. It's nice. The raspberry really comes through. We're using a little more gin in this one. It's about 2 ounces of gin versus 1.5 here. And if you remember this one, we had some dry vermouth. So let's compare. Man, they're both really good. Really, really, really refreshing. I think the raspberry's a little bit brighter here with the syrup. The dry vermouth cuts it a little bit better, cuts through the raspberry tart a little bit. Let's do another quick comparison. Yeah, it's tasty. Definitely a little more gin forward. And let's see which one's a little bit sweeter. This one actually tastes a little bit more tart. Which is interesting because we actually used more lemon juice in the just the raspberry one on your left. Yeah, that's really interesting. We also used a little more simple syrup in this one too, though. They're both great. Can't go wrong with either. Really great cocktail for this season. The quickest and easiest is going to be this guy. I would say I have a slight preference for the one with the vermouth. It's a little more complex. But both fantastic. All right, guys, thank you again for supporting Cocktail Chemistry. Love bringing you some bonus content like this. just to show my appreciation for supporting the channel. Leave a comment if you guys have any questions. Always here to answer questions for you guys. And please share any cocktails that you guys create as well. I'd love to see your creations as you start to make more cocktails at home. All right, cheers guys, and thanks again.